by Thorn Harbour Health. And before we proceed, I would first and foremost like to acknowledge the traditional owners on the lands on which we're meeting today and pay my respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. I'd also like to extend that acknowledgement out to all the countries on which we find ourselves watching from today, as well as acknowledge any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples that might be watching with us. So, this is our second last episode of The Bent Spoon, and it has been an amazing journey so far. And for those of you who don't know, well, The Bent Spoon is so much more than a cooking show. It's also a wonderful opportunity for us to showcase the diverse cultures across Australia, including First Nations communities, migrant communities, international student communities, and people of colour, and provide a platform for them to share with us and tell us their personal stories. So I hope you enjoy this episode with Say, and please do stay tuned after the episode for an exclusive interview with Say and Miss Catalina. And if you've been enjoying these episodes or really like this project, please feel free to share it or give it a like on social media, wherever you might be watching from. And if you wanted to catch up on the episodes and also get the recipe cards, as well as just find out any other info about the Bent Spoon, make sure you go and check out our website, which is thornharbour.org/The Bent Spoon. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you after the episode. Bye.
Hi everyone, talo falava, womajika, and welcome to The Bent Spoon, brought to you by Thorn Harbour Health. Now, food plays a really important part in our culture traditions. Food can bring you comfort, it can bring people together, and it can definitely tell a story. Now, food is a universal love language where we get to share the rest of the world our culture. My name is Miss Catalina, and I'm your host.
My name is Sikoa Chenpeng Feite, but I prefer to be called Say Chen Pao. I'm 27 years of age and I am of Chinese and Samoan descent. I was born and bred in Samoa and moved to Australia in 2015.
Talofa. Wamai.
Manuia Fafitsai.
Beautiful. So saying, you are the current Miss Samoa Fafafing.
Yes, I am. That is correct.
And I see you brought the sash along with you.
Yes.
Beautiful. This is beautiful. So tell me about the Sister Miss Samoa Fafafing pageant.
The Miss Samoa Fafafine pageant is actually a charity pageant.
Yeah.
All the money that we get from the pageant goes to a certain charity, whether it'll be the children at the hospital or the home of the elderly.
Oh, beautiful. Yes. I love that. So I'm excited. I want to know, what are we cooking today?
Well, today we're cooking the oka, or also it's the Samoan salmon salad. Today we have the tomatoes, the salmon, onions, cucumber, lime, and coconut, and the salt and pepper for seasoning. My dad is full Chinese from Guangzhou, China, and my mom is from Moa on the island of Upolu back home in Samoa. Growing up in Samoa as biracial was didn't really matter at all, because back in Samoa there were a lot of biracial kids, a lot of half Chinese, half Palangi. So it didn't really bother me at all. Food means a lot in my family. As I said, my parents are both chefs. they ran a restaurant, a Chinese restaurant back home. And that's when cooking is in our blood. All of our siblings know how to cook. Both Samoan and Chinese food, they all know how to cook. I love my Chinese food. I love the egg foo young, honey chicken, prawn dumplings. Whenever we visit China, my dad will always get me the shumai, the yellow steamed pork dumplings. Oh, I love that. I would always get that every time we visit a restaurant. I'm a foodie. I love food. Like, give me food and I'll eat it. Yeah, I just love food in general. Food is life for me. Whenever you're having a hard time, you eat food. Whenever you're happy, you eat.
We'll start chop.
Yes, shall we?
Okay, so we'll put that aside.
But first, let me take off my crown.
Oh, yes. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll put this to the side. I won't remind you when you go home. Okay, so what do you want to do first?
Well, firstly, we chop up the onions and the cucumber.
So say with this food here, this dish is called again oka.
Yes.
And how often when do you have oka? Is it an everyday dish or?
Well, oka, we usually only do oka for when we have our family gatherings.
Yeah.
Yes. It's an all-season dish. You can have it anytime, but we prefer to have it when we have our family gatherings.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And do you always use red or can you use brown onions?
You can use brown onion, purple onions, red onions.
Oh, what about pink onions?
If you have pink onions, yes, we can use those as well.
Oh, beautiful. And would you cook this if you're going on a first date? Would you cook this for your new date?
I probably won't.
Why? Because
we wouldn't want him to have a fishy smell.
And that's how you chop your cucumbers?
Yes, we would chop them in cubes. Yeah.
Okay.
No one wants to eat a chunky onion or a cucumber.
No, unless you're serving someone you don't like.
Now we can chop up the tomatoes.
Okay.
Yes.
Tomatoes. There's one for you.
Yeah.
And how do you like to chop your tomatoes? These are beautiful.
Yes.
Nice. I'll put that to the side there.
Just cut them in half. I'll just have a spoon there.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, this is different. I've never done what you've done before.
Yes.
As you said, what do we have to do? Scrape it?
Yeah, we have to scrape the insides out. Yes.
And so who taught you how to cook?
My mother.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes. Cooking is in our family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about your dad? Because your dad's Chinese.
Yeah.
Does he cook?
Oh, he's an excellent cook.
Oh, okay. And how many in your family?
There's actually 10 of us, 10 siblings.
Oh, wow, that's a big family.
It is a big family. I'm second youngest.
Oh, wow. So you cut it like that?
Yeah.
Okay. And into little cubes?
Yeah, into little cubes.
Okay. Do you keep this?
No, I just throw it out.
Oh, wow. That's such a big family.
Yes.
Okay.
And we're all very close with each other.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just in case people might want to know, are you currently single?
Oh, yes, I'm currently single.
Single and looking?
Single
taking applications?
Taking applications and interviews at the moment. My parents were really strict on me when I was growing up. Like, they were so strict on me as a fa'afafine. When I was in school, they would always lecture me about being a fa'afafine. When I overstep, like when I go overboard, then that's when they would lecture me about being fa'afafine. Like, what are you? Are you a girl or are you a boy? Which, yeah. But as I grew up, after high school, graduated high school, went on to university, I graduated, I saw a change in them. I saw that they were starting to be accepting of me as a Fa'afafine. That's when I started coming out as a Fa'afafine. I think what came first was me feeling my true self, and then the acceptance came after that. Growing up as a Fa'afafine, I always admired pageants. We had the Miss Samoa pageant, which is for the real maidens of Samoa. There will be the Miss Samoa pageant, there will be the Miss South Pacific pageant. I was always a fan of pageants. And then there was the Miss Fa'afafine Samoa pageant. Back in 2014, I decided to join. I wanted to give it a go, come out of my comfort zone, be a Fa'afafine. Then I decided to join the pageant. It was a really eye-opening experience on the life of being a Fa'afafine. And it was also because I love charity work. I love serving community. That was what being a Fa'afafine is in Samoa, is to serve your community. And being in the pageant, the money we get in the pageant is that all the money we get would go into our selected charities back in Samoa. It's giving back to our community. I competed again in 2018, and this time I snatched a crown. I got myself a crown, and it didn't matter if it was the international crown, but it's a crown. Prior to winning the Miss Samoa Fa'afafine title, I actually competed in the pageant back in Samoa, and I came 4th runner-up.
4th runner-up?
Yes, that was before I moved here to Australia.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I remember this interview that you did in that competition, and you said that you wanted to be a Prime Minister of Samoa.
Samoan Prime Minister, yes.
And
My
do you still
biggest
want to be Prime
ambition
Minister
in
of Samoa?
life is to be the first Samoan Prime Minister. Yes.
So with the because you're half Chinese and Samoan,
Yes.
in Samoa there is a lot of influence.
Yes.
Isn't a lot of Samoan food influenced by Chinese?
Like for example, the egg foo young.
Yeah.
The egg foo young, there's we usually have shrimp egg foo young, beef egg foo young, but now we have bisupo egg foo young. Egg foo young made with corned beef.
Yes, I've never had that
Yes.
before.
I was actually gonna make that today.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I chose the okra instead.
And this egg foo young, that's a very Chinese dish,
Yes, it's
isn't
a
it?
very Chinese dish with the Samoan twist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay. And do you want to?
Yes.
That's the salmon.
Yeah, I'll cut up the salmon.
Okay. And
I think we'll use this just one.
Just one?
Yeah. The salmon we just chop up in strips.
Okay. And who's the best cook at home?
Me, of course.
Yes.
Obviously.
Do you have a favorite dish that you like to cook?
A favorite dish? Yes.
Yeah. What's your favorite dish?
The egg foo young pea soup.
Oh, really?
I love the egg foo young pea soup.
Nice.
So you just cut it up in
Little cubes?
Yes, that's perfect, Kat.
Of course.
You are a natural cook.
And do we put all this in there?
Yes, we
All
put this.
together?
Yes.
Put it in now?
Yes.
And that's all the ingredients?
Yes, just one more ingredient, which is the coconut cream.
Oh, yes, we like a bit of coconut.
Yes.
Don't we? A little bit of coconuts. So this is the coconut you like to use?
Yes, this is the coconut. We usually use the Kara brand because we can't value the popo.
So how do you make this coconut cream? This is called, what do you call this in Samoa?
Ole, this in Samoan
like
is
this?
called popo.
Oh, yes,
Yes.
that looks like popo.
Yeah, very popo today, yeah. So in Samoa, we just crack the popo in half.
Yeah.
And then sasa'a lesua.
Yeah.
Valu.
Yeah.
And
So
then
take the juice out.
Yeah, we take the juice out.
And you grate
you
coconut.
grate the coconut.
Yeah.
Yeah, umalola ia, cacao lola ia. We milk.
Squeeze it out.
Milk the coconut.
Ah.
Yes, we milk the coconut.
Yeah.
To have the coconut
cream.
Yes.
Nice. Okay. And do you use a whole can?
Yes, for this portion, I would probably have to use the whole can.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
Or probably I'll use half because we had to mix it with water because this is quite rich. It's thick.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So you need water?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I've got water here for you.
Yep.
Oh, that's...
Just a little bit of water.
Yeah. So depending on the coconut cream you use,
Yes.
if it's watery already, you don't need to add water.
Yes.
Yeah. You want a spoon?
I just had the spoon
There you
here.
go.
Yeah, umalola ia,
Yeah.
saveu.
Saveu, we like a bit of a
Yes,
saveu.
you saveu the...
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then we have the kipolo here. So kipolo,
Yeah.
the lime, you just squeeze it in.
Okay. Do you squeeze
Yes.
one or two?
Yes, you can squeeze two. It usually brings out the flavor.
Yeah.
Like it combines everything, it cooks everything together.
And I see you wearing this flower, the hibiscus flower.
Yes.
Your hair.
Yes.
What does that symbolize?
Well, back home, they say if you wear it on the right,
Yeah.
you're taken. If you wear it on the left, you're single.
Oh, so you're wearing it on the right.
On the right, yes.
Means you're taken.
No. It's just my preferred side. This is my better side, you know? Everyone has their better side, darling.
Oh, okay.
This is just my preferred side.
But then how are men going to approach you if you've got that on your right-hand side? You're going to be single for the rest of your life. Pretty and single for the rest of your life.
It wouldn't hurt. Being a trans woman of color is here in Australia is different from being a trans woman in Samoa. Over here, we have access to medical supplies for our hormone replacement. Yes, they have that here, but back home we don't. And it's different. Here we have the advocating for trans right, and for those who are watching that might have a similar experience with me, just be yourself, live your truth. Don't care what other people think about you. You be yourself, you know who you are. It doesn't matter what people think of you. You know how you feel inside, and that's all you need to know is being true to yourself, and that's all that matters. Okay, so we add a bit of salt, a little pinch of salt, just a little pinch.
Okay. Just a little pinch?
Just a little pinch.
What's that guy? What's his name that does this? He goes like this.
And then we add a little bit of pepper.
And do you use a lot of pepper for the soup?
No, not that much, just for flavor.
Okay. That's beautiful.
So you had the option of adding spring onions.
Yeah.
But we already had the onions, so
Yeah.
we don't really need the spring onions today. And voila.
And that's done?
Yes, that is done.
Wow, that is awesome. So I've got to ask you something before we finish off this cooking.
Yeah.
Who's going to be the next Miss Samoa Whawhawhinga Victoria?
Oh, it could be you, Kat.
Thank you.
You can have my crown after this shoot.
Oh, that is looking really great. And can you eat this straight away, or do you need to soak it or marinate it?
You can eat it straight away. You can leave it overnight. It's still good.
Does it taste better if you leave it overnight?
Well, to me, I like it when I leave it overnight.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I can eat it like this?
Yes. You can just have it right now.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I don't eat seafood, so I'm going to try it. Try this. Should I eat it with...
I'll just try one myself.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking about me. Mmm. Oh, that's yummy.
I need to find my...
That is so nice.
Mmm.
Yeah, I don't eat
That is
pepper.
perfect.
Oh, thank you so much, Say. This is beautiful. This tastes really good because it's my first time eating it. Actually, first time eating it with salmon, and I actually love it now.
Yeah.
Because I always say no to oka. Because that tastes so good, what I've decided to do is give back your crown. So here you go.
Thank you.
Is that how you put it on? There you go.
Yes.
There you go. And so you'll have it for 5 minutes and then you'll give it back to me. And that is your sash. So thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming to the Big Spoon.
Thank you
It's
for
been a
having
pleasure
me.
and an honor having you on.
Thank you.
And hopefully we have you again soon.
Yes.
Thank you, sis. Mwah. Mwah. Oh, my hair! Don't take my hair.
Being on the bent spoon. Being on the bent spoon meant a lot to me. Yeah, I'm trying to get words in my head. Let me just get a moment to gather myself. Being on the bent spoon today meant a lot to me as I got to share with you my culture and my food. If you want to try it for yourself, the recipe will be on Thorn Harbour Health website, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Hello, welcome back. Hi, Miss Catalina.
Hi, Jessie.
I say welcome. Say hello to our audience.
Hi, Jessie. Warm Pacific greetings. I am Sabina Lay.
It's good to have you back. I haven't seen you since we actually did the filming.
Yes, it's been a long time.
It has. So how did you feel watching the episode for the first time?
Oh, wow. It's like, oh, I watched it with my eyes closed. It's like, no.
I thought you two were so cute, honestly.
It was actually good. I loved it.
Yeah, really well produced. It was beautiful to watch the two of you just like joking around, poking fun at each other. It was awesome. How about you, Miss Catalina?
Oh, I loved it. I've forgotten all those things that we did and things that we said. I totally forgot. And I thought, wow, did I really say that?
Yeah. And you made her hold up the coconuts at one point. I was like, oh my gosh.
Feel free to edit that part.
I think
for
we made
your
sure we included
delicate
that part. No, that was cute. I think you actually used the Samoan word for coconut as well, right? What was that again?
Popo?
Popo. Yeah, I think when I was looking up some of the Samoan words, there's one word that you, I don't think you mentioned it, but milk in Samoan is susu, right?
Yeah.
That's the same in Malay. It's also susu.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I know that.
But is Malay for susu, is that like meaning one thing?
Yeah, it
like
just
milk?
means it just means milk. Yeah, in Bahasa Melayu. So like milk that you drink. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because in Samoa it means milk, it means breast, it means suck.
Right. Actually,
So yeah.
Oh yeah. My Malay isn't that strong. It's possible that it could mean. No, you're right. It also means like to milk, like like milking something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway.
And I'll just clarify, I did say the word S for Sam, U-C-K.
Sorry? Oh.
Just in case.
Yes.
Some people, did she say the F word?
Good to clarify. So say now that you're kind of like on just the other edge of it and we're, finally doing this catch up and stuff, what was your favorite part of the whole bent spoon experience?
Oh, my favorite part was when we talked about the flower. As you can see, I'm wearing the same flower I wore in the shoot.
I love that. Did we talk about the flower?
Yes, we did. We talked about how, like, what side you the flowers. Yeah. So if we're single, we wear it on the left, and if we're taken, we wear it on the right.
Yes.
And if we're confused, we wear it over here.
So single is on the left?
Yes.
Okay, so I see that you've changed it. Even though your right is your good side, you changed it to the left. Just FYI. The ladies in the house. I think we all need a flower right now.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I was also going to say the hibiscus is actually Malaysia's national. Oh no, sorry, it is Sabah's, so the state that I'm from in Malaysia. It's our national state flower.
Wow.
Yeah, so it seems like there's some similarities there.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
I think there's a lot.
yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
realize there were so many. It's like the Chinese, and then there's the words and stuff as well.
Yeah.
What is Samoan?
Oh, I'm sure there's lots.
Yeah,
Me?
yeah. Actually, yeah. There's such a merge, isn't there?
Yeah, there's lots of influences and yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And say you yourself are half Chinese, half Samoan, right?
Yes, I am, Jessie. I'm half Chinese, half Samoan.
Can you speak any either one of those languages?
My biggest regret is not being able to learn Chinese.
Oh my
So I
goodness.
can only
You and all of the rest of us in this generation, man. Me too. Me too.
I know. So I can only speak English and Samoan
Yeah.
fluently. Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny, isn't it? Because I'm a Chinese, I'm full purebred Chinese pedigree.
Yeah.
But I can't speak Chinese, and I tried. I really tried. I tried to learn, but I can't speak Malay because I grew up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chinese is just one of those things. It just doesn't stick so easily, you know?
Yeah, I think I asked my dad why he didn't teach us Chinese, and he said it's a hard language to teach.
Yeah. Hard
Yeah,
language to
Oh,
teach, hard
that
language
hard.
is true.
hard language
It's a
to
hard
learn.
language. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because your dad is Chinese, so that means he's obviously learned. He speaks in Samoan fluently.
Yes,
Ah,
he speaks Samoan fluently. Yeah,
How come?
okay.
he's lived in Samoa for more than 40 years. Yeah,
Yeah, that'll do it, right?
yeah, that'll do
Yeah.
it.
I think if you're there for 6 months, you start picking up quite quickly.
Yeah, I think they should ship me off to China and leave me there for like a year.
Literally. Honestly, that's the way you learn. That's
Yeah.
how you learn language. I feel like when I explain it to people, I don't feel like you can actually learn a language. Like
Yeah.
I don't remember learning English or learning Malay. I just knew it, you know, because as a kid, I suppose you sponge it. But when the second you try to learn something, it just integrates a bit differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so true.
Anyway, so as we're talking, oh yeah, so as far as your parents go, you said that they were both chefs, right?
Yes.
And they owned a restaurant?
Yes, they did. They did own a restaurant back home in Samoa. It's a Chinese restaurant, Treasure Garden.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Okay, oh, I think we've lost Miss Catalina. But I'm sure she'll come back soon. So tell us about that. Tell us more about that. That whole, like, is that why you were into food in the first place? And you know, did you work with them, or yeah, what does kind of food mean to you, especially having chefs as parents?
Yeah. All of the kids helped out with the family business. Some of them even cooked in the kitchen, wash dishes, wait tables. Yeah. Managed the restaurant. Yeah, we all had a part in running the restaurant. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, and you're one of 10 siblings, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, big family. What's that like?
It's nice having a lot of siblings. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm the youngest of 7, so that's also
Oh,
quite
wow.
fun. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it. It's good. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah. And obviously I'm the only queen.
Back. Sorry, I missed that. What did you say, Faye? Say?
Yeah, and I'm the only queen in the family.
The only queen in the family. You know, actually, are they more boys or girls in your family? Like, how does it go?
There's I always get this. I had to count. There, there's four girls and 6 boys. Yeah, more boys.
4 girls and 6 boys. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think there was an article that was released recently, and it kind of mentioned this thing where Samoan families that have a lot of boys, they tend to apparently raise the youngest boy or something like that as a fafafine or as a girl. Can you speak to that, either one of you, and tell me how much truth there is to that and what that's about?
Yeah, well, this is something that was many, many years ago. Margaret Reed, the famous author, read a book and she put that in her book from her experience, from what she saw. And that could have been from one family, maybe a few. And then it just, because, being Margaret Reed, the book got around the world. So that's one part of that book. That part in the book was really stood out. So people held on to that and just kept talking about it. So now there's this thing where people think that it's part of our culture or it's part of our tradition. But it's not.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. There are some. Yeah.
Yeah. I have to agree with Catalina on this one, because I was born and raised in Samoa, and I never heard of anything like that. Well, it could be from one family, but
right. You've never even heard about that concept.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Isn't that interesting how certain narratives can stick, and that becomes the representation of, like, I guess it's a stereotype, right?
Almost stereotyping. I mean, that's not to say that it does happen, because I've seen it myself but not because there was lots of boys. My own cousin, she had 2 boys and she wanted a girl, and she did raise her, the youngest, as a girl, but that was different, because I think the one that Margaret Reed was talking about, it was because they needed a daughter to help out in the kitchen, help out the mother, because it was all boys and no girls. But my cousin was different. Her one was purely because she wanted a daughter. And just to clarify, he's a boy. Like he's not. He hasn't transitioned anything. I think she raised him and like a girl when he was a baby until he was probably about 6.
Sure.
And then other family members got involved and said, no, you've got to stop that. That's wrong. Because he was not liking the dresses. So he knew, obviously he knew, even though he was always wore dresses, he knew that wasn't him. So he would like not wear the dresses or split the dummy if he had to do girly things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, just like the other way around, I guess when you know. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
yes. Thanks for that, Jessie.
What is this? Oh, you two were holding the sash and the crown. You should have brought your crown today, say.
Yeah, I have it here somewhere. It's here somewhere.
I have no idea.
Tell us a bit about that. That whole. So, what was the title? Miss Samoa Fafafine Victoria, right?
Yes.
Tell us how you snatched that crown.
Yeah, tell us exactly.
Well, where do I start? Once upon a time, well, it was back in 2018, and I thought of competing again in the national pageant back home in Samoa. And me living here in Australia now, I was like, why not represent Victoria or Australia? And I needed someone to support me, so I got in contact with Tony, a mutual friend of Catalina and mine. Yes.
For Pacific.
The legendary Tony.
Legendary Tony. Yes. I hope you're watching, Tony.
Yeah.
He will be.
Yeah. So I got in contact with Tony and said, hey, Tony, what do you think about me representing Australia in a national pageant, Fafafine pageant in Samoa? And he said, oh, yeah, that's cool. I'll talk to our Miss Samoa Victoria committee, and we'll see what they say. And he got back to me and said, "Oh, they'll love to have you on board." So fast forward, and they were hosting a blessing ceremony for the Miss Samoa Victoria. So they included me in that one as a crowning moment for me as Miss Samoa Fa'afafine Victoria, the first ever Miss Samoa Fa'afafine Victoria. So
Okay.
here I am, Miss Samoa Fa'afafine Victoria, 2018 till eternity, till
So
someone sets up.
there hasn't been another one, or so there wasn't a competition.
There hasn't been another competition for me to give
Pass
my
on.
crown away because we're still looking for young Fa'afafines.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah, well, it seems like there's a lot more, especially after this, and I know Latoya was kind of talking about it on the news and stuff as well. There's a lot more, uh, I guess, publicity in a way, or a platform for Fa'afafines here in Victoria, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, I hope that changes and that it becomes more visible.
Yeah. So with this winning this crown, do you have any responsibilities, or do you want to? Because I know it's just you now. Are you wanting to have some?
Keep a straight face.
Well, the question.
Trying to be all serious.
The public need to know this.
Thank you for the question.
Yes.
But also, are there any responsibilities that you want to take on as part of having that title?
Yeah. Well, yes, of course, yes. Yes. I love doing charity work and yeah, giving back to the community.
Yeah. Just
So I
wanted to
hope
double check.
yeah, so I hope in the future there'll be some charity work for me to do. I'll be
Yeah.
available.
Yes, we'll get onto it.
Well,
Yes.
speaking of which, you mentioned about being the Prime Minister of Samoa. Is that a lifelong dream? Is politics something you're interested in?
That is a hard no.
No.
Probably
hard
back
no.
then, yeah, probably back then it was, but now
Okay.
it's a hard no.
At one point there was a desire at some point to.
Yes.
Okay. Well, where did that come from? Was that kind of wanting to see some change, or was it like a celebrity moment, or?
I think it was a celebrity moment, a 5 second
So
celebrity
nothing to do
moment.
with politics.
I'm gonna
Yes,
say,
no politics for me.
say into the Samoa Whawhinga pageant in Samoa. Remember you, and then they had the interview questions.
Yeah.
And she was asked, I can't remember what the question was now.
The question was, what is your biggest ambition in life?
Yes. Yeah. And
Yes.
your reply was?
My
your
reply
answer
was, my biggest ambition in life is to be the first Fa'afafine Prime Minister. Why? Because I believe that we as Fa'afafines are just as capable as making good decisions for our country and running our country.
Yes.
And I am
Nice.
confidently beautiful with a heart.
And now you're like, nah, not for me. Good
World
answer.
peace.
Yeah.
That's a really beautiful answer, though. It is.
Yeah.
Mm.
True.
But sadly, I didn't win Best Interview, so that was kind of shame. They probably didn't want to see me as Prime Minister anyways.
Well, here we are on the Ben Spoon, star of the
Yes.
show.
Something even better than being the Prime Minister of Samoa.
We're going international now, baby.
And so, say, do you want to tell us what it was like growing up as, for you, as a Whawhinga in Samoa?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Wow, here we go. Do you want to tell us about what it was like growing up as a Whawhinga in Samoa?
Yes, growing up as a Fa'afafine in Samoa was very accepting. Yeah, my family was very accepting. The people surrounding me were very accepting. Yeah, it was just
And would you say that in comparison to Australia?
um, it's a big difference. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a big difference from Samoa to Australia.
Tell us what that difference is like.
Before, when I was in Samoa, I never faced any discrimination. Like people knew Fa'afafines, it was tolerated in Samoa.
Mm,
And when I came here to Australia, that's when I started seeing the side eyes and oh, is that a man or a woman? Yeah.
right,
Mm.
right.
And then recently it happened to me at work because our workplace is a all female workplace, and there's only two. Well, it was only me before, but now there's two trans women working in our factory, and there was always but there was always that one woman that would always be like, oh, should she be using the women's toilet, and
Mm,
and the word got to me and I just ignored it, like, oh well, like, yeah. But it's when they had their staff meeting, and she brought it up to the boss. She brought it up to the boss, like, oh, should so and so be using the female's toilet? And the boss shut her down immediately, like saying who said these accusations and stuff. And she just um mentioned some of my close friends. Yeah, so apparently the word got out to me, and it was quite sad, like
mm,
thinking it was over, but still it wasn't, you
Mm.
know.
mm. And so
Yeah.
what was the result from that?
um the boss called me into the office, and he reassured me that he shut her down, and he told me, well, he apologized, and he told me that I had their full support.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
That's really
Mm.
good.
but
Yeah.
till this day she hasn't like come up to me and say, oh, like, I'm sorry, and like I'm not like I don't expect an apology, but
Mm,
like own up to it. Yeah.
Mm.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Um, just so people know that there are laws that protect all trans people in Australia. I mean, it was different from state to state, but as of the 1st of August 2013, it's a national law. So there are laws that protect all trans people and LGBTQIA+. As for the toilet one, that's obviously, you know, discrimination. Um, and there is kind of, there are some companies that are trying to accommodate to trans people, especially those who identify as non-binary. There are some business who have, you know, male and female toilets, plus they also have, uh, what do you call them? Unisex toilets. And then there's some organizations that only have unisex toilets.
Yeah, yeah.
So there is a lot of work to be done in that part.
Mhm. Like I
Of,
guess at Fawn Harbour, our work, we've got toilets with urinals and toilets with cubicles. So, take your pick. I suppose what would you ideally want to see, and it taking into account the experience of all the other genders and not just LGBTI, like cis men, cis women, all that kind of thing. What would your ideal setup look like, really?
well, I worked for a company which they had unisex toilets down the bottom. I guess because it was too late because they already had toilets upstairs, but they had room downstairs before you enter the building where it was all unisex toilets. So everyone shares the same. So I know for some people have an issue with it because they feel it's not safe. But the way it was designed to be quite safe.
Yeah.
So it is a unisex toilet, and everyone shares. Like everyone, you come up the toilet. The toilet is the toilet itself is quite spacious. It's quite big. It has its own sink. So you wash your hands there, and then you just walk out. There's none of this sharing this, where everyone goes to the one sink and wash hands for those who are not comfortable. But you do your business in that one room and then you just walk out.
Yeah.
To me, that works better. Yeah. And that's the most used toilet in that whole building because people love that toilet and people love that sharing kind of thing. You're just walking past, like men and women, non-binary, trans people are just walking past.
Yeah.
You're not peeping. You can't peep into people's, doing their business. And it's quite, for me, it's quite safe.
Yeah. And I suppose, what people might not be aware of is this is an issue or this is a thing that you face every day. It's something, and, sometimes we might not even think twice about it. We're just going to the toilet, going to the bathroom. But this is something that you have to face and then address and then manage within yourself.
Yes.
And so, yeah, it's quite, I'm glad that you're sharing it. It's interesting to bring light to these things.
Yeah. And to know people, for trans people watching, to know that there are laws that protect them. And there's really great, I have to mention there are wonderful, like Thorn Harbour, if there's any issues, I'm sure people can contact Thorn Harbour. The Zoe Bell Collective. If you're in Sydney, the Gender Centre, these are the places that you can go and seek, some kind of advice. And these organisations can lead you to the right people to get help if there's any issues.
Yeah. So other than that, what about yourself, Miss Catalina, as far as your experience as a trans woman of colour in Australia? What was that like? Is there anything about that you want to share?
Oh, there's lots to share. It's oh wow, where do I start? I want to Ash said, I don't want to make it to be like a pity party. There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of work to be done. Yeah. Lots and lots of work to be done, not just for a trans woman of colour, but for trans people in general. Because we all say, a lot of us, trans women of colour, yes, we've got other different issues that generally trans people of colour don't face, like, discrimination using the toilet and things like that, which is another layer. But there's so much work to be done. It's like, to me, there are simple answers. There's really simple solutions, but we're not the majority. So,
is there a simple solution that you care to share? I know that's a really difficult question because things are so layered, right? And it's not this. It's not just discrimination. It's not just mental health. I know it's and I understand that, but is there maybe a simple solution? Whilst you're here, that you can think of that might be worth sharing?
Yeah, well, I think for being inclusive, having a diverse team on your board, because the people on the board, they're the ones that are the sayers. They're not the sayers, but they're the ones that are making rules and policies and decision. We need to be. We also want to be part of the decision making. So it's important to be included and invited to the table. Just like what Thorn Harbour's doing, being really, really inclusive and showing that diversity matters and it's beautiful. And what I've noticed that is, there are cis white people who are at the board, the majority are on the board, but when you look at the general public, they all want to embrace people of colour and then they wanting to learn. Because every time somebody talks about, the Whawhawhinga term or the Whawhawhinga community or the, any other community, everyone wants to learn. So, I just think that if they have more people on their board that are people of colour, not just as a token, but obviously because they have what it takes.
And can bring that to the decision-making
Yes.
process.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You got any thoughts about that, Say?
Catalina pretty much said everything.
She's happy holding her crown.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, I might rewind. Thanks, Miss Catalina, for sharing that. I really appreciate it. I know it's difficult when.
No, but thank you for asking.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Cool. Yeah, I'm glad. Might just bring it back a little bit because I wanted to ask you the experience in Samoa and stuff. Did you or actually both of you, did you have this coming out process? And I know coming out might also be a concept that is potentially quite Western, but did you have a coming out process and what was that like?
For me, I didn't have a coming out process. It's like my family already knew I was a Fa'afafine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they already knew from a young age that I was a Fa'afafine. So I didn't really have coming out. Yeah.
They just knew.
They just knew.
Yeah.
And what I realized with family and stuff is that, if they're older and from a different generation, like with parents and stuff, I feel give them a break, just a little bit of break, because they also grew up with a very different set of rules and understanding, and just give them a bit of time and they'll come around, and at the end they'll realize it's maybe sometimes it's the shock or something. And if we want to be accepting and loving and forgiving or have that treated to us, then we also need to do that the other way around. And I say that with some family, but yeah, I guess unless they don't ever come around and they're just great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. It's interesting because I have to say, even for myself, and maybe there's a bit of that assumption that Australia is a Western country and it's liberal and it's open and stuff. But from what all my darling Papafinas are telling me is that it was the other way around, and that's definitely it's a surprise, a pleasant surprise that it's just and yeah, quite shocking that your discrimination started when you moved here, which is for myself, race was never really an issue, or even that definitely not a barrier until I came here. And it really opens up your eyes, and it's quite confronting in a lot of ways. So yeah.
Yeah, and for the most part, things do get better.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
And here we are, doing things like this to be able to just talk about it. Like you said, we don't need to do the pity party thing. We're just being real. So
exactly.
Yeah.
We just
now,
share.
Now at work, I'm just doing my thing, knowing that after my boss said that I had the support. So I'm flaunting it. Yeah. Who are you? Who are you?
That's cute.
Sorry, what was that?
I said, do you wear a flower to work?
Yes, sometimes if I'm not studying early hours in the morning, then I will. Yeah.
Nice. So I remember when I called you earlier this week, there was as you both know, it was Esh's episode last week, and that was really powerful for everyone involved, for those watching, for us interviewing. It was I don't even know what else to say other than it was powerful, and it was real, and it was raw, and it was needed, and I have so much gratitude and love, and I'm so proud of Miss Kathleen and Ash. But you said when you watched it, say that it really hit you hard, and that you actually teared up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, asking which part and why? What did it mean to you?
Yeah, the part that hit me hard was the part where Ash was talking about his transgender friend that passed away, as she was like what she told him about the fight that we face every day. We never stop fighting. I forgot. I totally forgot to write it
I was
down.
actually trying to look for the quote earlier. I actually tried to call Ash earlier, but he didn't pick up. So, just
Oh,
Yeah, I think what he said was that
the moment
what,
you realize,
yeah, that you're queer,
yes,
you
the
are a
moment you
soldier.
realize that you're queer,
yeah,
you become a soldier.
you become a
Yes,
soldier.
And
Yeah,
every single day is a fight until the day you die, or something like that.
yeah,
yeah, which is so true.
Yeah.
yeah,
Every
and
day we put on this armor and we fight.
yeah.
We fight to be seen, to be heard.
Yeah.
Mm. And I
Okay.
was crying because I had the glasses on. I thought, thank goodness I had these glasses on.
Yeah.
But this is a thing that I've been saying to a lot of my friends and people that know me. I say this a lot. That for a lot of us are trans people, not all, but a lot of us, it feels like we are going to war every time we leave. Even before we leave the house, we're mentally preparing like as if we're going to war. So the minute that we walk out the door, step one foot out the door, we know we're going to be faced with discrimination. So we've got to be, fully equipped and be ready. And some of us aren't capable to defend ourselves or fight, not because we can't, we just don't feel that we should have to, so we don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and that's in the beginning of my transition, that's what it really felt like, because you're constantly being called names, or so every day when you leave the house, you have to be prepared that this is going to happen. So what are you going to do? How are you going to attack this? How are you going to, are you going to fight them, or are you just going to walk away?
Yeah.
You can defend yourself. Yeah. So
It must be exhausting, and just, it must be quite challenging sometimes to have to do that every day.
yeah. But there is a lot of our trans community that still go through that process. I actually don't go through that process anymore. So I wanted to mention that because it's important to people to understand that there is a lot of us going through that as well, and just for everyone just to be kind, in the words of Alan.
Absolutely. Indeed. Well, thank you so much for sharing. It's I'm really honored that you would share these experiences with us. Any last words that you'd want to share with our audience who are watching for either one of you?
I want to say thank you again to Jessie, as always. Thank you, thank you to Paul for editing it so well, and thank you to Murray and Sanjeev and everyone at Thorn Harbour and everybody watching. Thank you so much for tuning in every Tuesday, 6:30 on the dot.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Thorn Harbour and of course you, Jesse, for the platform to have us showcase our talent and our culture and our cooking, of course. Yeah, thank you to the crew for getting my good side, and thank you.
Most welcome.
It was really fun.
Good. That's super important. So I'm so glad. And you got to remember me when you're Prime Minister, okay?
Yes, you'll be my deputy prime minister.
I
want to know about that.
And Catalina can be our secretary.
Oh, wow.
Love you, Kat.
I'll be still on the bed spoon.
She'll be star of a show, and she is the face of the brand after all. Well, thank you so much to all of our lovely audience out there. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here with Say and Miss Catalina. For those of you watching, if you want more information on recipe cards or to watch any of the episodes, you can check out thornharbour.org/the bent spoon. We'll see you next week for our last and final episode of season 1 of the Bent Spoon with our lovely guest Baburam. We'll see you then.
Yes. Bye, everyone.